Welcome in another edition of the H&H Podcast. I am Henry Lake alongside Fox 9's Ahmad Hicks. And look, we do what we do here on the podcast. We talk everything sports about every single team, every single player, every single organization. And this week is no different. We start in the National Football League with your Minnesota Vikings, our Minnesota Vikings, and the upset victory that they had over the weekend against the Detroit Lions, because it was an upset. I didn't see that coming. I don't think that anybody saw that coming. I think the Vegas line on the game was like 9 points or something like that.
It was a lot. It was 8.5, yeah.
The storyline going in was the return of J.J. McCarthy, and let's start there because last week I questioned the development. Yeah, Kevin O'Connell and rookie quarterbacks or molding a young quarterback because he's always had vets. In my opinion, it's still a legitimate question mark. It will be a question the rest of this season, but at least for one game with J.J. McCarthy, he looked the part of an NFL starting quarterback in the league. So he played outstanding.
So are you saying that you questioning Kevin O'Connell was wrong last week?
No. I actually think that I might have lit a fire underneath Kevin O'Connell and him working with JJ.
So you think
Thank me later.
You think Kevin O'Connell listened to our podcast and
Absolutely.
said, you know what, I need to do better this week.
Man, he's a fan of yours, man. You know, you got a lot of fans out there, bro. I got people at the station. I'm dead serious. I got people at the station last night like, man, that Ahmad Hicks dude, he know what he's talking about.
This guy here.
Straight up.
JJ McCarthy. We'll appreciate those people that say that if they're saying that.
Real talk.
J.J. McCarthy, he looked good.
Yeah.
And this is what I was saying last
really
week.
Good.
Patience.
Yeah.
That first game, let's go back to the Bears game. I think they babied him a little bit, tried to do too much, not put too much on his plate. That fourth quarter, they finally let him go play football. That second game versus Atlanta, Coach O'Connell basically came out and said and told us reporters that basically he didn't have any practice time. He missed Wednesday, Thursday, and for people who don't understand, Wednesday is your first practice of the week. That's your heavy install day. Thursday, you're another heavy install day. Friday is more situational goal line, things like that. So he missed a huge part of practicing that week versus the Falcons. So that's what Kevin O'Connell credited, his struggles in versus Atlanta too.
That was the week he had the baby too.
Yep,
right?
that's the week he had his firstborn son. So basically, Kevin O'Connell threw an asterisk on that one. Said, you know what? He didn't have a big practice week, but we didn't know that. They didn't make that a big deal before the Atlanta game, but he finally came out and addressed that. So now with the full week of preparation, 4 out of 5 starters on the offensive line, they're all his weapons offensively, including Jordan Addison. We got a chance to see just how dangerous this team can be offensively if J.J. McCarthy goes out there and plays decent football, which he did last week.
I think that the questions, though, are still there, and they're still valid, and I think that they should be there, but to your point about the offense really stepped up, and the biggest part of the team that really, I think, when you look at how well they played and we didn't see it coming, was how well the offensive line unit performed, because they have been underperforming here recently and they've had a ton of injuries.
Yeah.
And to even see that Christian Darrisaw was active, to see that Brian O'Neill was going to, give it a go too, that had to be a situation where I think a lot of Viking fans like myself looked and said, okay, maybe we're on to something here. But I thought the defensive line, they say all the time that the game is won in the trenches.
Facts.
I thought that the trenches is where the Minnesota Vikings got it done on both sides.
You remember we talked about Javon Hargrave last week, how that guy made a lot of money. He got his first sack since the first week versus Chicago. So he finally showed up. He had several big tackles. Jonathan Allen, they all did a good job. But I think one player that we didn't talk about a lot last week, Andrew Van Ginkel, and the difference he makes when he is on the field. Because now you can't go chip Jonathan Grenard and shade a running back to his side plus the left tackle where he's having to beat 3 defenders. And you know what, Dallas Turner on the other side, love him, what he may be, but right now he's just not Andrew Van Ginkel.
Yeah.
When you put Andrew Van Ginkel out there, you basically say, look, mano up front, 4 versus 5, and then we're going to bring a linebacker on a blitz, and then we can bring Harrison Smith. Now somebody's freeing up because you can't double team anybody, and a running back can't block Eric Wilson, Blake Cashman, or Harrison Smith blitzing.
And I think that that's what we saw on Sunday, and that's the reason why I say he's quietly one of the MVPs on this team.
Is it quietly, though?
Van Ginkel, though.
Is it quietly, though?
Yeah, quietly, just because most NFL fans and even most Viking fans, there's no name recognition there. Like I think that people that watch every weekend, they're like, oh yeah, we know how good he is. But I think just the casuals, they're like, who is he?
Right.
Where did he come from? Did we draft him? And not knowing about his time in Miami and all of that. So that's the reason why I say that. But when he's in there, man, he allows other guys to flash. You just mentioned Wilson. You just mentioned Cashman. Like, that's the Andrew Van Ginkel effect.
And I just think what he's able to do, he's so smart. Going back and watching the All-22 and the way that he's able to disguise his blitzes, disguise his rushes, where he acts like he's coming, but then, comes 2 steps and goes into the passing lane. Like, that threw Jared Goff off several times. Or where he's acting like he's covering a tight end, and then he goes on a blitz. He gets a quarterback pressure. I just think he opens up so many things defensively for them. And Blake Cashman, that guy leading the team in tackles, had the forced fumble. I think when he's healthy, when Andrew Van Ginkel is healthy, this is a completely different defense. And we got to remember, Blake Cashman missed 4 games. Andrew Ginkel missed, 4 or 5 games? So it's like you missed a bulk of your defense with those 2 guys.
And I think that Andrew is more athletic than what people give him credit for.
Absolutely.
He's way more athletic because every time he's on the football field, I feel like he's capable of at least one time per game getting a shot at the jump interception and taking it to the house.
Look, you got to be super athletic to do that.
To do that,
like,
I know.
Man, like to be in a 3-point stance or on the edge to get ready for a blitz, and the next thing you know, you're angling towards the quarterback. The next thing you know, you're veering out to go get the pick. Man, it's super athletic.
That's the box jumps?
Yeah. Box jumps, lateral jumps, that ladder drill, you name it.
He getting it in.
He's making that defense whole. And right now they need that. Because this Sunday they take on the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. So when you talk about setting edges and you talk about like forcing a guy to beat you by the pass, that's what they're going to have to do this weekend. Jonathan Grenard said after the game he has to be better. He's been getting to the quarterback relentlessly this year, but he hasn't been able to bring him down consistently. He has to bring Lamar Jackson down. He can't let Lamar Jackson evade sacks and get outside the pocket, because the longer Lamar Jackson has the ball in his hands, the harder it is to cover for the secondary. Like, the rule of thumb is your secondary should only be covering for 3 to 4 seconds. Anything after 4 seconds, that's not on the secondary. Like, that is on your defensive line.
Yep.
That's on your linebackers. That's on your DC, because it's hard to cover a guy in open space for 5 seconds. So somebody has to get home, and I think that's going to be a crucial part to their game this week.
And the other guy that I want to definitely hear as we're kicking off the show talking Vikings, I want to show some love to, because I really felt like he set the tone offensively, was on their opening touchdown drive. You cannot understate how awesome it was to see Aaron Jones healthy and back out there.
I know.
Like, he was explosive.
But bad.
He was more explosive during the game before he got injured than Jahmyr Gibbs was.
Yeah, and you say that, but look, I'm just reading in between the lines.
Uh-oh.
Aaron Jones is typically available on Wednesdays to speak to media and the press. It's normally J.J. McCarthy, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones isn't on the list tomorrow. He isn't on the list to talk to us. So I don't really know what that means, but this is just me reading in between the lines, because they have a set schedule. On Wednesdays, it's open locker room, but you get Aaron Jones, you get J.J. McCarthy. On Thursday, you get Justin Jefferson, you get T.J. Hockenson. You're not getting Aaron Jones on Wednesday. That says a lot. That speaks volumes, because injured players don't speak to media. They're not allowed to speak to media. I don't know what this means for his status, so we'll have to see tomorrow on the practice report if he practices. But it kind of seems like they may be without Aaron Jones. I don't know the extent of his injury with his shoulder. He got banged up in, I think, the third quarter. Didn't come back in.
It was about 8 minutes left.
Yeah, so he didn't come back in the game. So that explosiveness that you're talking about, it may not be there. Now, Xavier Scott is explosive, but I don't think Xavier Scott or Jordan Mason picks up the blitz protection as well as Aaron Jones. Like, Aaron Jones is small, but he will put his face mask in somebody's chest, and that's what you need.
And when he gets in space, he's just different.
It's an extra threat. So, that being said, we got to pay attention to that. Like, that could be a huge missing piece for the Minnesota Vikings. But that being said, I still think they have enough weapons. If Darius Hall and Brian O'Neill hold their own, then you allow T.J. Hockenson not to be an extension to a tackle. You allow him to split out wide. Now you got Jordan Addison. You got T.J. Hockenson. You got Justin Jefferson. And you got Jalen Naylor, who made a huge third down catch when the team needed it. His only grab of the game, final possession of the game. So, that being said, you like their odds versus the Ravens?
I do, actually. The Ravens, I know they got up for their last couple games, but
Miami,
I still don't trust them.
Me neither.
I really don't. We know Lamar Jackson, how special he is.
They beat the Bears with Tyler Huntley, and then they went and beat the Miami Dolphins.
I mean, I don't – this is going to be a close one. I think that the key is going to be, can you stop Derrick Henry?
Yeah.
And Derrick Henry hasn't been consistent at all this season.
Just don't let him get to the second level untouched.
Yeah. You stop him, I think you win.
Just don't let him get to the second level untouched. If they play the run defense that they had this past weekend versus the Lions, they absolutely have a chance, because if Lamar just has to drop back and throw the ball 30 times a game, odds are probably in the Vikings' favor, especially with the exotic looks and the pressure. Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel, Javon Hargrave, those guys got to get home. They gotta get home, and when they get home, they got to bring the quarterback down. If they do that, they will be successful. Now talking about sacks, getting the quarterback down, Minnesota, 7 sacks in their past game this week versus Michigan State, but they barely beat the Spartans, one of the worst teams in the Big Ten.
Winless in the Big Ten.
Nonetheless, a win is a win. I won't discredit this win for them. It's hard to win in Division I football. 6 wins now, bowl eligible for them.
Yep.
But they got a big game coming up in Oregon this week. What were your overall thoughts of Michigan State taking them down to the wire? It's a lot of bad football teams that have taken them down to the wire.
Wait,
Purdue,
don't we have this week off?
Yes, this week off, excuse
this
me.
week off,
And then
yeah.
Oregon. Yes.
Oregon,
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yep.
But
You looking forward to the Oregon game?
that's a big Friday night matchup. That's going to tell you a lot about this team, because they obviously laid an egg versus Iowa when they had a chance to go out there and make a statement versus a 5-2 team.
You waiting for me to hate, and I'm not hating. But come on now.
What do you call it?
I'm not celebrating the Michigan State win. Like a win is a win. I'll give you that. But that's a winless team. You're supposed to beat them, and it was a struggle. Like, it looked like the game was lost. With a minute left, you're trailing by 7, and you got to go down the football field. It looked like they were not going to get it done. Now, they did get it done, and they got it to overtime, okay, and eventually won the game. So props to PJ and his team. But, man, they had to work too hard.
Yeah, man. I don't know what it is. It seems like they always play down to their opponents.
They do. Yep.
When they play a lesser team, like that's a Purdue game. You schedule that in as a win. That's one that they should win easily. They didn't win easily. A Michigan State game. That's one you should probably win easily. They don't win easily. But I will say, it's hard to win football games.
Yeah,
it's hard. I agree with PJ Fleck. Like, you should celebrate all wins. I don't know about crowd surfing and stuff like that after every single win, but a win is a win, and wins are very hard to come by in Division I football. That being said, this offense has a problem, and it's been the same storyline every year. I feel like under PJ Fleck since I've been here. It's like the identity of the offense. It's like one day they're running the ball 50 times a game. Now they're like, all right, maybe we'll throw it 30 times a game. Do whatever you got to do to win. But it's like, all right, what is your identity? What's your bread and butter? Because it doesn't seem like they have a go-to right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem when you talk about good football teams. Because when you talk about Michigan in the year they won the national championship, they ran the ball well. They played great defense. Ohio State can air the ball out with the best of them. Like, when you look at teams across the Big Ten and their identities, the good ones, the more successful ones year in and year out, they know their identity. And I think as we're sitting here, 9 weeks into the season for the Gophers, they're still trying to figure out their identity offensively.
And I actually think that one of the downsides to Gopher football, at least for this season, is typically with Gopher football, when they've been most successful, they've had multiple playmakers at wideout. I don't feel like that's the case this year.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Brockington, but then
And then who else?
some young guys.
Yep.
You know, it's like, all right, got to be fair. They need some time to develop, need some time to mature, but
You need somebody else.
Need some dogs.
Yeah.
Or, you can't be always patient and wait on these guys for 3 to 4 years. Like, we got to start hitting some home runs, getting some guys that are game changers from day one. I know that's hard, but with the revenue sharing in college sports now, the NIL landscape, you got to go out there. You got to go find you a dog that can compete, because we can all agree. I think Drake Lindsey is a dude.
Yep.
Like, he's a dude. Like, he's going to be a dude next year. So you need to maximize his potential. You need to get somebody that can go make plays where he can go to him on third down all the time.
And I do want to say this, and this is a first, okay? Breaking news here on the H&H Podcast. I'm going to defend PJ Fleck for a second.
Changing your tone?
Actually defend him for a second. Well, no, because something came up in his press conference, post-game presser.
Yep.
About the roll the boat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to defend him, because if people want to be critical of him utilizing that slogan to this day and all of that, I just think you got to find something else to do. You got to go and stop nitpicking and find like legitimate things to criticize PJ for, because that is not it. That is, I think, a slogan. Everybody or all good programs or any program out there at the college level, they're going to have things that they will promote, talk about, that'll kind of be like rallying cries and just kind of things that are part of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see anything wrong with talking about roll the boat, because essentially when he came in, he's talking about us all being together, pulling in the right direction and moving forward and being a part of this thing that they're going to try to cultivate and develop into something special. And so for people to be overly critical of that, I find something better to do.
And the deeper meaning behind it, creating that after he lost his son, rowing the boat for the Annunciation School and the survivors that they had this weekend. Look, one thing I do criticize PJ a lot when it comes to wins and losses and winning big games. But I think when you talk about building a culture, building a program of sustainability, getting his guys to graduate, guys to go on to the next level.
Positivity.
He does all that, and that is what you want. So I am highly critical of his wins and losses versus big teams. But when it comes to a head coach, would I want my son to go play for a guy like PJ Fleck? Absolutely.
And I think that the other thing that we have to get caught up, not get caught up on, rather, is like his energy, like him being, like running up and down the field. Like, that's who he is.
Yeah.
Like, we know who he is by now. Like, I think there comes a point where we have to get over it. Like, I'm not saying you got to be in love with the guy. I'm not even saying you got to like the guy. But at some point, like
respect him.
Pulling your hair out because you don't like how he seems like he's on caffeine 24/7. I mean, that's just stop it.
You got to be. I mean, his energy is infectious. I will say that his style is through the roof. What he does for this program is more good than bad.
Yeah.
And I think us, criticizing him and holding him accountable to win bigger games is not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at the full landscape and the full point of view of this program. Like, he has them in a good spot right now. I think fans just want to see him go to that next level.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And I think that's okay to
that's
want
legit.
more. Yeah.
But not every coach in sports is going to be for everybody. People here got upset because they felt like Rocco was too calm. And so now we look at PJ and we mad because he too hype.
Right.
Like, what is it?
He's doing good. We just hope that he finishes this season strong, gets some big wins. They're obviously bowl eligible again under him, so that's another great feat for him. Let's just go see
bowl, though.
Yeah, I know, right? Let's just go see a good game versus Oregon. No blowout. Let's see a good game versus Oregon. Let's see you handle Wisconsin. Let's see you handle Northwestern, finish this season strong, and have something to build on. Because like we said, with the new NIL landscape, you now have a chance to start competing for college football playoff berths. And that is something that I think us fans want to see from this university. Like, we no longer want to see bowl games in Detroit, bowl games in New York, the Pinstripe Bowl. Like, we want to see legitimate bowl games, New Year's Six bowl games, or college football playoffs. And I think that's okay for fans to want at this point in his career. He's been here long enough. He's established a culture. Let's go win some big games now. All right. Nonetheless, they got the week off, well-deserved week off after what they were able to do this past week versus Michigan State, especially after that loss to Iowa. So a big bounce back for them. Speaking of bounce back, the Timberwolves, they lost Anthony Edwards due to a right hamstring strain, and now they lost 2 games without him, but they found a way to bounce back. Now, granted, let's take it with a grain of salt. They beat Charlotte, they beat Brooklyn, but they got 2 back-to-back wins finally.
Took care of business on the road without Ant. The reality is that those are teams that you should beat. You should have beat the Lakers without Ant, because they were without Luka and without LeBron. So they should have taken care of business. They did not. But at the end of the day, they're on the road right now. They'll face the New York Knicks tomorrow, nationally televised game. I'm looking forward to that. But shout out to Julius Randle, who had a triple-double last night.
That's not who you need to be shouting out.
No. I got to shout him out because he got a triple-double.
Okay.
But to me, the person, the MVP of the team right now is J-Mac.
Okay, yeah, but I got to pick a bone with you.
Okay.
Rudy Gobert.
Rudy's been good.
What did I say?
Rudy's been good.
Thank you, but I say he had to do more offensively. The last couple of games.
His game is not going to change, though.
Double-double.
Yeah.
Plus 31, plus 27 in his last 2 games. Had 14 and 15 in one game, then 15 in something else.
But that's Rudy.
But he's doing better offensively.
He's doing about the same. Because he had monster games last year. He had a game last year where he was like 25 and 25.
In the playoffs, he had a game.
Man, this dude's he's tweaking.
So what I'm saying though, when he plays well and plays to his level defensively, his defensive player of the year capability, and then he chips in offensively with 15+ points, this is a dangerous team.
Yeah, I just think that you when you look at Rudy though, you're not gonna look at him and say that you're ever gonna rely on his offense.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
But I still think if he look, you're 7 foot plus. You should be able to score 15+ every single night out, and you should be able to do more without just catching alley-oops.
Yeah, but people say that about every 7-footer.
Right.
Roy Hibbert. All kind of cats. Michael Olaway Candy.
The skill is, I won't say it's diminishing in the NBA for 7-footers because, you got 7-foot point guards.
Because the majority of them are focused on trying to be perimeter guys.
That's the problem. That's the one gripe I have.
Wemby got skill.
Yeah, but he had 2 points in the first half the other day.
Yeah, I know. That's one game.
It is one game. That guy's a monster. We're not talking about him right now. We'll say that for another day. All right, like Lake said in the introduction here, we don't just talk Minnesota sports. We talk all sports. We talk all things. And this past weekend, this past couple of weeks, we were probably treated to one of the best World Series around. 7-game series between the Toronto Blue Jays, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the best team money can buy. The Blue Jays, though, man, they had an opportunity to win that. They were so close twice in that series from winning it. And you just have to feel bad for them the way that it ended.
Well, I don't, because I made money off of the LA Dodgers. My producer, we did a video last night where he handed me my money. Shout out to Chris Tubbs.
Dang, Chris.
I'll say what I said last night, and I wonder what you think of this. I feel if you look at this 7-game series, I really believe that the Toronto Blue Jays outplayed the LA Dodgers, but the LA Dodgers, they were just more clutch. They were more clutch.
Facts.
Look at the games. The Toronto in the games that they won, there were routes, like 6-1. Mm-hmm. I think there was another one where it was like, I can't remember, it was like 9-4 or something like that. The majority of their games in which they won were not close games. The Dodgers games that they won were close games. They were just much more clutch.
Every time.
Yep.
I think that was the toughest part about that game. 5-4 loss for them in 11 innings. Just like the 6-hour game that they had where they lost on a Freddie Freeman walk-off home run. Close loss again. I will say the Dodgers, they were more clutch. They had guys who had been there before. You could tell they weren't afraid of the moment. They knew they had a chance. And the Blue Jays, they had 2 outs to get in the bottom of the ninth, in the top of the 9th inning. Like, they had it. And then Dave Roberts makes the right play, subs in the right guy to pinch hit, and the rest was history. After they got that home run, you could kind of tell like the air was the air was taken out of the building.
And then the play in the bottom of the ninth that saved the game, when he caught that in center field and they collided.
Yeah,
that was the moment where I was like, oh, it's destiny for them.
You think so?
Oh, I immediately I was like, when I saw that, I said, yeah, money good.
Look, Dodgers made very, very good money. They made a big investment in Shohei Ohtani. It's paid off. They made all their $700 million back last year. I saw, according to a report, with like marketing, overseas sales, things like that. Probably gonna make $700 million again off this season. Yet MVP,
unbelievable.
That got 3 wins in a World Series. That's unheard of.
That's unbelievable. And pitch 6 and 7. Who comes back and pitches in Game 7? He does.
It's kind of crazy.
After pitching in 6.
Kind of crazy. But shout out to the Dodgers. Back-to-back World Series champions. They earned it. You feel bad for the Toronto Blue Jays fan base, though, man. I felt like it's kind of like a Minnesota sports moment. Seth Kaplan said that, one of our executive producers here, where it's like you just feel for them. They were so close, then just got their hearts ripped out. And the fact of the matter is, they probably won't be back there next year.
Yeah, you never know how things will shake out, but they played their hearts out. They were right there at the end. They had a great opportunity to win, just fell a little bit short. And, Drake took another L.
Why did I know he was going to bring this up this show? Why did I know you were going to bring up Drake and Kendrick Lamar in this when we started talking about baseball? And Toronto and LA. I knew you were going to do it.
Because Fox brought it up. In the graphic that they had a graphic where they had Kendrick in a GNX.
And said they not like us.
And it said, yep, World Series, they not like us, and Drake's in the back with his arms folded like that. And then Nike ran an ad that night to squabble up.
Drake, drop some
Nike.
music, bro.
He signed to Nike.
Drake,
oh my goodness.
Drop some music, bro. Team Light Skin, we down bad right now.
Get out of the
Drake.
courtroom, bro.
We down bad right now,
Stop
Drake.
appealing.
Drop some music, Drake. I need some help here because Lake got all the momentum right now. I have no rebuttal to that. I think that was a good podcast. I think we got to end it there. That was a mic drop. He didn't hit us with Not Like Us Again. Kendrick Lamar with another W. Drake with another L. Drake, please drop some music. And y'all keep tuning in, keep liking, keep subscribing. Let us know how you feel in the comments about that ending of the World Series, what you thought about it. Let us know what you think about the Vikings versus the Ravens this weekend. And let me know what you think about Rudy Gobert offensively, please. Because he thinks that he doesn't have to do anymore, but I disagree with him.
And make sure you keep that TV on. Don't turn that TV off.
You see what he did there? We're done. That's it. Bye. Bye, y'all. We'll catch you next week.